It is official. We are at the end-ish of July, and I'm going to give you guys a garden tour. So if you don't know who I am, my name's Ashley. I'm in Zone 3 in Canada, aka cold, but obviously not super cold today. I'm going to show you some interesting stuff that's going on, few of which I'm actually going to make a video about today because less than ideal, we'll say that much. But yeah, let's get into it. So this, as always, is my normal kind of trellis. I think last year I just did morning glories on this. This year I am doing some squash. So there's like a pumpkin kind of in the back corner there. And yeah, the inside of it is probably the cooler part. I'm not going to lie. So I did put kind of like this shade type plant area. So I put begonias that clearly need to be deadheaded, desperately need to be deadheaded. But I put begonias, some different coleus that I started from seed. I put some impatiens, begonias, again, all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of what this entire area looks like. I have to keep on trellising these little stems indefinitely, I think, because they just kind of don't go up. Why? I do not know. You guys are being very helpful there for a second, helping me get that. You'd think that they would just go towards the sun, but apparently not. Okay, that's up. Okay, now we go this way. And we end up over here. So these beds. These beds here obviously have cabbage moss that need to desperately be sprayed. They're getting so bad right now. This is kohlrabi. I was attempting to do kohlrabi here because this is the bed that gets no sun, zero sun because of that tree. A big, beautiful tree, but it just makes growing in this space absolutely impossible. The kohlrabi is not working here. So next year I will not do kohlrabi. I will do something else. I don't know what to do. I need ideas. I'm about this close to just making this bed a plain old, no offense, but like a hosta bed or something like that, because it just doesn't do anything ever, except for very leggy. And you can tell it's leggy because if you look at like the kohlrabi itself, you can see like this is supposed to be way down there and it's also supposed to be way bigger than what it is, but it's not. I can still eat the kohlrabi. I can eat the stems, obviously. I can eat the leaves. It's just not what I wanted, I guess. So this here is a bed of Swiss chard and beets. I watered it, so that's kind of why it's laying down there. I've got some carrots in the back, and then I have potatoes back there. This bed gets a little bit more light, not by much though. And it shows in some ways. I have obviously plants that aren't quite as leggy. Those potatoes are hugely leggy, but it works for green. So next year, I don't think I'm going to do, because I don't think the carrots are going to do well here. There's not enough light for them. I can do like a spinach or lettuce, that sort of thing in this bed, and it should do okay. I actually genuinely feel as though lettuce or spinach in that bed won't do well. It still will be leggy, which is shocking to say. So this bed, I had lettuce at the front. I now have bolted lettuce in the front that I will collect seeds from. These seeds I will not use outdoors because that just means they're going to bolt again. They're more susceptible to bolt. My cat is outside. How did you get outside, putty tat? Hi. No, 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 no. You're not an outdoor kitty. You think you're an outdoor kitty. You are not an outdoor kitty. You are a bad kitty. You wouldn't know how to survive. I can promise you that. But goodbye. It's good at opening doors if they're not fully locked. Since I said, this lettuce here is bolting. I won't use this bolted lettuce outdoors because it's just going to bolt again. But it's good for indoors and it's free. So yeah, that's one type of lettuce or seed that you just don't want to save because it won't. And in your favor, this is kale. This is kale grown in the absence of light. It's very shocking, I know. So if you've got plants that look anything similar to what mine do right now in this area, it's lack of light. I can promise you that. I've got dill, and then I've got sunflowers that are able to get kind of above the shade, but you can tell they're all leaning for the light this way because there's no light again. So this bed here is going to be broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, that sort of thing. And obviously they're netted because of those wonderful little thingy-mabobbers. castor bean plant, black-eyed Susan, eucalyptus. That smells absolutely glorious, if we're being completely honest. Here I have a giant bed of celery. Literally, the whole thing is celery. Utah celery specifically, because Geek Crew told me to do Utah celery, and it's delicious. Bachelor buttons, because they're pretty. And then we got tomatoes. So many tomatoes all the way through. Oh, we got onions too, actually. Onions. Kind of all chilling here. Peppers. In this area, I actually should probably pull them out because they're probably getting partially shaded. This is where we're at with tomatoes. This is kind of like the approximate size. I've got some flower drop, obviously, that happened because the nighttime temps were still dropping down pretty low there for a little bit when some of these flowers were developed. But the ones that develop flowers later have all of their flowers still. I've got kind of these guys in here. So they're starting to turn. I just did a video last week on this, but it's hot here. It's like 30 plus 30 every single day. When we start getting to those temperatures, what ends up happening is our plants tend to, in the tomato world, not turn over. They just kind of stay at this size and they kind of stay green. So what you need to watch for is for them to hit the size they're supposed to hit and then actually remove them at first blush, and then they will actually ripen on your counter. But let's go look at some flowers now. This space, I actually changed a lot. So I put in a lot more plants here. So there's a number of, this is bugbane. I can't remember what that one is in the corner. And then I've got hostas galore in this area, azalea, that sort of thing. So I did put some more flowers in here and I ripped out a lot of Virginia creeper because it is in excess, we'll say that much. I've got flowers at the front of this area, kind of facing my deck. And then this space, this is how little light. This is just shocking to me. Let's turn up the brightness here. That's how little light my backyard gets. I don't think people believe me when I tell you that there's no light here. These are obviously wandering dudes, and you can see the spacing between the leaves is enormous. This is a coleus. This is a shade plant, and it is so far from compacted, it's not even funny. It's a non-compact coleus due to lack of light. Okay. This half of the bed is like shade because it's going to get this morning light, and then it's done. It's going to go shady. So inside of that, I have stuff that's really similar to the other side. The only difference is this impatient here is like a tall impatient. It's kind of cool. This is my little butterfly plant area. So this is called a hummingbird something. This is a kangaroo's paw, which looks crazy. And then I did get a hummingbird bush, but it was flowering purple, but now it's just doing nothing. So I don't know what that's about. Otherwise, yeah, it got hit with hail and it damaged some stems on some sunflowers. So now the sunflowers are kind of going the other way. I guess I could stake them if I wasn't lazy, but yeah, that's kind of what this area looks like right now. It'll start flowering here shortly and really filling out. It'll look really pretty. This is another victim of all the storms we've had. This was inside of there, and then it obviously tipped and broke. So now it's been repotted into here. This is a passion fruit plant that's been through hell and back, but you know what? It's still growing. That's all that matters. Flowers. And then this is kind of my fall starts, which are behind. We're not going to be completely honest. And then this is just all flowers. Pretty little flowers, lots of purple because purple is my favorite color. And yeah, and a banana plant, a very random banana plant. So this is my little bean patch. You've got some grass in here that came up from my straw mulch that I used that clearly had some seeds in it, which that's okay. It's just a cover crop, I guess. But yeah, so this is all beans. We do have some that are ready. Beans from the garden are always the best. Always the best. These are like really ready. So if you harvest these, you can actually get like 2, 3, 4 harvests off this plant if you just keep harvesting, because it'll just keep producing flowers if you keep on removing what they think they need to make for babies. Fun fact. Oh yeah, those are delicious. This is the front of the house. That's obviously a squash. This is a giant castor bean plant. And that is a morning glory. Actually, those are all just flowers in there. So we've got zinnias, petunias, you name it, it's in here. And it's beautiful. So yeah, it is just a modge podge of everything. Cherry tree is cherrying. This is the raspberry bush, obviously. I'm sick of raspberries now, but you know what? It's okay. I'll keep eating them. Sick of them. But it's been doing its thing for weeks now, and it doesn't want to give up. And that's kind of what this area looks like. So it's been very hot, very humid, lots of water. Because of that, it's just gone bananas up in this joint in regards to growth. So yeah. This here we have kind of squash on this side. And then on this side, we have cucumbers, which I've been watching and waiting very patiently for cucumbers. There's a baby cucumber. So we've got cucumbers happening slowly but surely. They're kind of all over mixed in. That is not a cucumber. I don't know what that is. It looks like a cucumber plant, but it's in fact not a cucumber. I don't think. It's something weird. But anyways, I'll continue to wait patiently for my cucumbers because we are just that far behind. Very, very cold spring to start with, so not helpful. Okay, this side here, we have more tomatoes. We have some Cosmo sunflowers in the front here. And then I do have some kind of patty pan squash in. So this is my radish turnip area. Some are bolted, so I do need to remove, obviously, these ones. Some are still giving her, so we will see. They are very spicy this year. I'm not going to lie to you. Very spicy this year, but you know what? That's okay. They're delicious. So these poor guys are actually the longer kind of noodle beans. They're quite long, and they had some major transplant shock comboed with really cold weather. So they're very slow. I would expect them to be like here. They're way down there. And then surprise, more squash because I just knew it was going to be a really, really cool spring. And I wanted something to grow, anything to grow, to be honest with you. So I just kept on adding more and more squash plants for that exact reason. So this is my self-watering bed that I obviously have more kind of squash and stuff inside of. What kind of squash? I cannot tell you. You're asking questions I don't know the answers to, but we do have some action. So hopefully one day that's going to go all the way over top, maybe. More tomatoes. I put these here because I want to experiment with how little light I get on this side of the yard, which is not a lot. You can see from these internodes, the length actually is kind of funny. The internodes are really long down here. Now that they're starting to get more light, they're starting to crush together. So that's interesting. Not a lot of flowers due to the lack of light, but we'll see what happens in regards to production. And then basil and marigolds at the bottom. This is my strawberry patch, but I have raspberries that very obviously decided to come through. And then I put some sunflowers in there to kind of cover up the fact that it's just a strawberry patch. But those need to get yanked, obviously. So not gonna lie, I don't love my garden this year solely because we had hail. The hail did a lot of damage. Given it could have done a lot more damage because I did run out with blankets and I did cover a lot of stuff, but it broke a lot of stems and caused a lot of things to kind of grow a bit odd. I've got another issue that I'm going to do a separate video on, and it has to do with city spraying weeds in the back alley. It's very obvious that's what they were doing. And it drifted into the garden. And then that cold spraying made it so that certain crops were completely fine, completely happy, and took off like wildfire. Squash is one obvious one that did perfectly fine in that weather, but other ones didn't do well. So tomatoes seem to have recovered, but a lot of the flowers just don't quite look as nice because they're not where they should be. Now they're getting pelted with heat and sun, which is less than ideal. So, but that's okay. That's gardening. And you know what? We're still going to have a lot of food, and that's all that matters. Just won't look pretty, and that's okay. My mom used to tell me that too. I'm just kidding. She told me I was pretty, but bye, Geek Crew. I'm going to go die in the heat, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.